We have a brand new product release from Yamaha. It's the CK88, their new stage piano, combining some of the best technology from their YC line and their CP line. A brand new stage piano with incredible effects, incredible versatility, lightweight. There's a lot to love about this. We're going to check it out in depth, the CK88 from Yamaha.
Hi, this is Ted with Alamo Music Center in downtown San Antonio, Texas.
I'm Patrick Marr. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. Check out our new website. It's alamopianogalleries.com, where you can find one of our 9 locations spread throughout the United States. We'd love to see you at one of our galleries. We've got lots of great instruments, lots of great people. We'd love to say hi and talk all things piano with you. Ted, we have a very cool instrument. We've had the privilege of playing both the CK61 today and now the CK88. Both really awesome stage instruments, and stage instruments are something that we both, have our passion for. There's usually a good array of piano sounds, electric pianos, there's some cool organs, and then usually you can get really in depth with some synthesizers and different pads, and just a lot on board of kind of a creative machine, really, is what I would describe some of these stage pianos as. Great in a home studio. Great if you are in a band playing. Something lightweight is also highly recommended if you are gigging a lot. But
18 kilograms.
But before we jump into that, and you're gonna have to do the pound calculation for me.
Oh.
But I think it's 28.9. So it's right under 29 pounds on the weight on this. But let's get into the piano fact. That's what we're gonna start with today. And Ted, you brought this for us. I know we were gonna talk about polyphony, not polygamy.
I'm full of what?
A polyphemist?
Oh.
No, so polyphony is a word you see on a spec sheet quite often.
Yeah, what's that mean?
I mean, have you asked your wife?
Number of notes?
No. Polyphony is something that as you see different levels of keyboard, there's sometimes you see 128 note polyphony, sometimes you see 256, sometimes you see 192. What does it mean? Explain it to us.
It's how many notes that the sound card can have triggered
at
any one time. But the important thing to remember about polyphony is on a stereo, it's split in half, so that
because it's
both
firing
the
left and right. Okay.
So they're going to get half as much.
So it gets really important once, if you're a classical pianist and you're playing on a digital instrument, when you're doing a lot of runs and things like that, there's drop off at a certain point.
If you're holding the pedal down and you do, say, an arpeggio with scales and scale runs in between, you'll only hear 62 notes at one time, coming from both left and right channels.
Are you talking about on
128, for example?
So we're looking at one today. This is the CK88. It is 128 note polyphony, which is, for a stage instrument, that's pretty good, but it's on the lower side when you start to consider where a lot of instruments have gone with the 192 and the 256.
Yes. But
you're not, again, so you said how many notes?
It's half as many. So if it's 128, you should have like 164.
Okay, 64. So that's a lot.
Well, and the other model is only 61 keys. So you'd have to trigger at least every key. Okay, which isn't really probably going to happen unless you're doing a swat. On an 88 with an extended long pedal sustain in a run, you might have some dropout. Remember, the dropout is designed to where not to start at the bottom and not to cut off too far behind. So there's points in there. I don't know how they determine the drop off, but I know it used to be from the bottom up. So when you did a run,
you'd just drop off.
Right. And then after enough complaints, they got the technology where they kept the lower notes that were designed to be held to keep sounding while the drop off came up.
So that's polyphony in a nutshell. How many notes can trigger off at the same time? It's one of those key defining features of how advanced is this sample. And so we just wanted to touch on that. That is our piano fact for the day. It's a digital piano fact.
Polyphony is a pretty advanced feature. You have to remember that the first synthesizers and almost all the keyboards that came out originally were just monophonic.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, if you had a polyphonic keyboard, it was something that
6
every
notes.
key had. Well, every key had its own tone generator.
Okay.
So it would be like a Fender Rhodes or a Clavinova or a Wurlitzer.
Because that had a real trigger.
Right, or like a
Sound.
Hammond with a spinning wheel or something like that. So polyphony was something that has always been hard to recreate from an electronic standpoint.
And it was very, early in the early days, it was like 6 notes, 8 notes
Right, it was very
on some of the synthesizers. We are looking at the CK88 today to not get too on polyphony, but the CK series again is a kind of a combination of the YC series from Yamaha, which was primarily their organ simulator, kind of stage organ simulator, similar to some of the Nord products out there, and the CP line from Yamaha, which was their stage instruments, the CP88. We have a CP70 behind this CK88, but in the backdrop of our videos, we usually have a CP70, which is kind of the origin of the CP line. But Yamaha said, hey, let's take these 2 products that I would say were kind of niche products, and let's combine them and make a functional, well-priced stage instrument that checks a lot of boxes. And so tell me about your initial thoughts on the CK series.
Oh, when I first saw it and I got it out of the box and I plugged it in, I turned it on, I thought, I know exactly what this is. This is all the refaces combined into one big keyboard.
So the reface from Yamaha was what, 8 years ago?
About 8 years ago.
And there were 4 units, and they were almost like a piece of history from Yamaha. It was an interesting idea because they looked a little bit like toys. There was a red one, a white one, a black one, and another color one.
And it's interesting because they attracted 2 kinds of customers. One was a professional musician that bought it for the sound card and the MIDI connection, and they just set it there and got sounds off it. The other one, almost every single one of those that I sold went to a brand new person to keyboards and said, this is the one that a guy in the synthesizers bought the CS model, which had all their synthesizer stuff in it. And then he came back and I thought for sure he's going to buy the CP model because I thought he was a musician. He bought that DX one that had all the program
digital
sounds
synthesis in there. So they're kind of the 80s DX7.
Right, it was
DX1,
really weird. He said, oh no, I'm not a musician at all. I bought these. He goes, I'm glad they have little keys, but I use it for other things. And it's like he was just learning about electronic music. All of those are kind of in here.
Yeah, it's kind of sprinkled in. So the reface, they were priced like around $500, $400 to $500
somewhere around.
And it, they were just little small keys, little small speakers. Not a lot as far as like the hardware on it, but what was inside was what people really liked, and they've taken that and they've expanded it. They've kept those ideas and they've put them in their stage instruments or in their YC line. But on the CK line, you have a full organ side. The whole left side of the keyboard is going to be your organ controls, and you have drawbars.
The first thing that almost anyone notices is that, look, there's analog controls on this. There's buttons, and there's sliders, and there's knobs. And that looks so 1970s, where almost everyone wants to, immediately what to do with that stuff.
I was worried when I opened it up because I was like, oh, great, a workstation. It was my initial thing. I was like, oh, there's a lot of stuff on here. Is it a workstation? But when you really look at it, and we'll try to break this down here in a little bit, but and when we're sampling through it, but it's broken down so it gives you exactly what you need, so you don't have to menu dive, but you can be ready if you're on the stage, if you're in a studio, you're ready and instantaneously.
On a fly, and not only is it on the fly changes, but I can start with this organ section and tell you that it is designed for an organist, a player that is used to using different kind of pedals and different kind of effects and pulling down different drawbars and swapping sounds during sustained chords and things like that. To start off with, the organ section has your choice of vibratos, and whether it's going to be in the violin section, the cello section, if it's like the type of vibrato that comes with the rotary organ or not. And then you also have up here the percussion kit. So whether it makes a clicking, a fast click, a hard click, and then also you have it's a bigger sound that they put up on there. They also have this works as a drawbar, so it's like you draw them out, you pull them towards you, which is exactly how it works on a Hammond. They also have the Leslie switch from slow and fast.
So you can speed up.
You can speed it up and slow it down, and so a lot of players, that's a constant thing, so that you can take advantage on sustained sevenths. You have it spin real loud and then slow it down when it goes back to other ones, and just different things you can do to get more effects and more expression out of just a straight rotary organ sound or the Vox organ sound.
But you're almost like riding the wave of the sound that when you're playing organ, it's all about drawing out the frequencies, like you've said.
And so a lot of them, the players are really good because they switch and throw things back just through certain number of measures. And that's real important that those are all right there on the left-hand side where they normally are accessed to a regular organ player. The other thing that is really nice, you have A, B, and C.
Your 3-channel mixer, basically.
That's a 3-channel mixer with 3-channel volumes right there. Each one has their own. This could be a piano. This could be a Rhodes. It could also be anything else that you
pads
pick.
or strings.
Pads
you
or
stack
strings,
them.
however you want them. And then also, to your convenience, at the end, there's an overall 3-band equalizer. And reverb just flat out, on and off, and then how much on.
And there's plate, and then there's digital. There's a couple different reverbs as well.
All this is an effects rack that I think amounts to about 20 some odd pedals. And you can choose not just one, but there's 2, and then there's also an alternative one. And there is an input that you can use just the effects on, for example, a microphone.
Yeah, so really user-friendly. What's nice is there's speakers on board. It's not a stage piano that you really have to I need to get a pair of speakers
great monitors.
with. So it's a 12-watt speaker system, not going to blow you away, but it's 6 watts per side. Gives you a nice reference right there as the player. Also turns off very easily, so if it's something where you don't want to have, if you already have a monitor, say, at a gig, and you want to turn off the onboard speakers, there's a switch right on the back. You don't have to menu dive. You don't have to turn it off any way other than just reaching around the back, flipping the switch, which is nice. So yeah, let's take a listen to it. Ted's going to play through some of the sounds. We're not going to go through all of them. There's 363 different tones on this instrument.
Before we go to that, this is the bragging rights on the sound card. And this is what is just amazing, because on the CK88, this is a phenomenal setup for a digital piano. And the way the keyboard is with the weighted hammer on it, you want to play it like a piano. But on the CK, the 61 version,
feels like a synth.
Like a synth, and you're inspired in an entirely different way by the exact same sound card. And I said it in the other video, I'll say it in this one. If you can, you want this one on the bottom and the other one on top. For this reason, there's 13 pianos, 14 electric pianos, 20 organs, 62 brass horns and woodwind sounds, 58 guitars, basses, and that includes some really cool fat synth basses, 42 orchestral sounds, 65 pads, 51 leads, 38 percussion and ethnic sounds. And there's also synthesizer controls here with
like an envelope filter.
Envelope filter with a attack, decay, sustain, and relates. And you can take, for example, a piano sound, any one of the sounds that are in here, and start using the attack, decay, sustain, release, or
turn it into a synth sound.
Turn it into a synth, stretch it, save it, keep it, use it, and always be able to go back to the original sound without messing it up. Let's have a listen, and then we'll talk a bit more when we come back. Well, Patrick, I want to talk a bit about, it has all the Pro connections in the back. And what's interesting is that it has both, I know this is not a big point, but left and right for stereo output. But this is one of the few keyboards that almost every sound that's in here that you're looking for, piano, has a mono version of that sound, mono version of the Rhodes and the Whirly, so you can use those particular sounds without having to lose half of the sample from just, so it's a separate sample that's designed in EQ to make just a mono output work.
Okay, yeah, so that makes it versatile, because I've been at gigs before, like, oh, I only got one channel for your keyboard, you run it out mono. It makes it a lot easier if you don't have to. You always feel a little guilty, like giving them just your left channel.
Right.
And so also works as an interface. It does have the audio in, the left and right audio in as well, which is cool. But you're able to use this connected to your computer and use it as a MIDI controller if you want. You can use the effects. You can do a whole bunch really through this. That, like we had talked about, you can run a microphone in it if that's what you want to do to take advantage of some of these really cool sounds. There's overdrive, there's compression, there's reverb, there's delay, and you're able to kind of layer those in as well. So, for example, in this effects 1 and 2 processor right here, you're able to turn on 2 effects. You can run double delay here, and there's also another delay. So you can triple your delay if you wanted to. There's a compressor field on the effects 1 and 2. There's also a compressor field right here where the overdrive channels are. So you're able to use it in different ways. So if you want to use more chorus and then use the compressor, or if you want to use the delay in a different way and delay it twice, you can really kind of dress this up, and it gets the signal can get very complex.
It's an extremely professional keyboard, and it has something in common with the CK61. You can play it anywhere, because it runs on batteries. Which is a rarity. Usually something that is this professional only comes with a plug-in.
So it comes with the power adapter, but there is on the back, you're able to open it up and fill it with batteries, and then it's portable. No wires or
all
anything.
Those weddings out in the middle of a field where people ride in on a horse, they do everything old-fashioned, but they want a musician out there. And you could take this out in the middle there, take it on your rowboat, go fishing.
Yeah, it's just, you can pack it up, you can be playing in the van and bugging everybody. But it is a fantastic instrument. I wish I had an arpeggiator. That was one thing. One of the effects kind of like works as an arpeggiator, but I really wish there was like an actual arpeggiation field on it, because I feel like that would really kind of put it over the top. As it goes for feature set though, to me it's one of the most complete packages. It has Bluetooth audio in. They don't touch in Bluetooth MIDI or anything like that, but it's the features that I see it most used. And so like you can connect your phone to this and play music through it. You can turn the speakers on and off real easy. You got the draw bars, you got the effects that you can just real easy plug in, turn on and turn off. You got your memory bay here, so you can have your live
live setup.
And really kind of just starts making a lot of sense very quickly. For the amount of knobs and buttons and lights and all that stuff, I was worried. I was like, okay, is this going to be overkill? But really, it's feature full and not over featured, which is hard to do.
Both on this model and on the 61 key model, I was surprised, because when I guessed the price on it, I was way, way, way high.
Yeah, this comes in at $14.99. To me, it seems like more of a $2,000 plus dollar instrument. Especially, you have the GHS action, which isn't going to blow you away, but it's graded hammer set from Yamaha. They are trying to load it in as much as they can, and I really feel like it kind of kills any sort of competition in this price point, because they've lowered polyphony a little bit in this price point. There's a couple things that are stripped away. The speaker system isn't going to blow you away. It's only 12 watts, but they've packed it.
But there's
full.
something there. I mean, it's better than nothing. It's not a one speaker mono monitor. It's a stereo monitor. So
they've tried to pack it as full as possible, and I mean, me and you are both very, very pleased with this product release, because I think it's a home run. I think Yamaha's done a great job of making something affordable.
My first comment was, it's about time, because I really imagine they would have had something like this years ago, and they just never got to it.
The CK88 and the CP73 to me were really cool products, and ideally they worked great, but playing this, it flows better. Like on the other one, they had the switches and you turned off sections or turned on sections, And to me, it
The
never.
human engineering is a little sharper on this.
Yeah, the other one was a great idea, and I feel like it kind of made sense visually. You're like, I'm turning on this section, I'm turning on this section, I'm turning on this section. But on this one, it kind of flows so smoothly, and you don't lose nothing. If you're holding the sustain pedal, nothing cuts off when you switch from one thing to another.
The other thing too, you can go from strings to piano, and the strings will still sustain. Now, the minute you let off that sustain pedal, that old sound goes away.
Yeah. So the CK88, a fantastic instrument from Yamaha, their new stage line, that CK line. We will be doing a product review where we're looking at both the 61 and the 88, kind of getting a little bit more in depth and talking through some of the feature sets. So make sure you're subscribed so you can see that video. If you've had the opportunity to own a CP before, maybe a CP88 or 73, let us know what you liked about it. Let us know what you're hoping is on this one. I feel like they've checked a lot of the boxes and kept things pretty. The one sacrifice is you don't get the wood keys like on the CP88. That was a $2,500 stage piano, heavier. This one comes in right under 29 pounds. The little brother comes in right under 13 pounds. So really lightweight, really easy to pick up and move to a gig. Great instrument. If you've played one yet, if you own one already, please leave comments. I know a lot of people are looking for that perfect instrument that's lightweight, it's easy to move around, and it's going to be fun to play. And I think this checks all those boxes of you're going to have fun just in your room.
I think so.
Playing this it's
a wonderful thing, man. I just like this product. It's great, and again, it's amazing the difference in the number of keys and the texture of the keys just incites you to play in two different fashions.
Oh yeah, the brain on this is the exact same as the 61, but they feel like completely different instruments because the way it responds to you and what you want to do on it is so different. So make sure you check out that video as well, the CK61 that we've done. Make sure you're subscribed to our channels. We do have this piano channel. We also have a pro audio channel and our guitar channel. We'd love to see you on all those channels. Please leave comments. We appreciate any support that you guys give us, and we love to interact with you. We love to get in there and read comments. I think we're eventually going to get to a point where we read our favorite comments of the week because
that would be nice.
Some of them are hilarious, and some of them totally rag us, and I love that. It's like, who's that guy?
Well, at least we have something to make fun of all week long.
I know. So we'll start reading some comments. I like that idea. But thank you guys. Make sure you're subscribed. We'll see you next time. This is Ted. I'm Patrick. Thank you guys for watching.